Shloka number 13 is a very important shloka. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. So here he again goes to the jnana sannyasa topic. So he is going to talk about the person who is established in jnana. So several important words are there. We will look at it one by one. Sarva karmani manasa. Sarva karmani. So all the activities he has given up. Sarva karmani. Karmani here meaning the nitya, the naimittika karma that we saw. Nitya karma means the activities that you will have to do. Naimittika karma means some obligations that you have to do. You have to, somebody's house, baby is born, somebody has died, like that. Some occasional things, obligations will come. That is naimittika karma. This person who is a jnani, of course, he will not do kamya karma. He will not have any desire. And then this prayaschitta karma, which you do in atonement of your karmas, that also he will not do. This jnani will not do. And nishiddha karma, of course, he will not do. So karmani here pertains to the collection of all the karmas, but certain karmas are not applicable for him. That sarva karmani means that manasa. Manasa meaning by the mind. So how he has renounced? So first point is he has renounced with the mind. So he's talking about the jnana karma sannyasa that we saw in chapter 4. We will look at what it is exactly. Sanyasyaste sukham vashi. So sannyasa, he has renounced. He is having renounced his all the activities by what? By the mind, by the intellect. Like that. Here the meaning for the manasa is given as viveka buddhya. That means with the intellect. Viveka means the discrimination, right? Of what is the permanent thing and what is the impermanent thing. Like that, that viveka, that with that intelligence, he has renounced the activities. What does he do? Aste sukham vashi. Then he remains, aste sukham vashi. He remains happy. And vashi is the self-control person. Control person who is happy in himself. So this person who is a jnani, who has renounced with his intellect, who knows that I, the Atma, is different from the Anatma, and that's how he has renounced activities. And then the most important thing is Navadware Pure Dehi. Navadware. So they are talking, Navadware means the 9 gates. Pure, in the city of the 9 gates, Dehi, the embodied being or the Jiva. So what are they talking about? They are talking about this body. The 9-gated city, which they mean is the body. So what are the 9 gates? 2 eyes, the 2 ears, the 2 nostrils, 1 mouth. So 7. 7 in the head itself. Then the 2 for the excretion. So 2 are there, the bottom part of the body, and the 7 are in the top in our head. So this 9-gated city, which is the body, he remains there. Navadvare pure dehi. Na eva kurvan na karayan. Na eva kurvan means na eva, never, certainly, kurvan, doing anything. Kurvan means doing anything. Na, not karayan. He is not causing to be done also. So what is the general translation here? The embodied beings who are self-controlled and detached reside happily in the city of 9 gates. Free from thinking they are the doers or the cause of anything. Why they are saying that he resides in this city, he resides in this body? The Ajnani, if you ask him, where are you? He will say, okay, I am in the beach, I am in the house, I am in the park. Like that he will say. He will not say, I am residing in this body. Only the Jnani will know that he is residing in this house called the body. We never take the body to be the house. We think we are the body is why we want to build a house for this body. We want things outside this body. But the person who is this jnani, he knows that he is in a very temporary location. The house that he is living in is his body, which will go away in a few years. That knowledge he has. So that is why these external things don't matter to him at all. I am in a temporary location. this house has been given to me by God, and then after some time God will take away this house. Like that he has his knowledge. So other things he doesn't need. So that is why they are saying that for this jnani, he is inside this house called the body. Naiva kurvan nakarayan. Naiva kurvan nakarayan meaning what? This jnani, he will not like make extensive to-do list, or he will not be like, okay, this project is finished. No, we have to start with another project. We have to buy this other thing. We have to, like that, he will not, his mind will not act like that. And he will also not be instigating others to do anything. So main problem after you get old and all, you will keep instigating. If you are not able to do things, you will keep instigating others to do things. So like that also, he will not do anything. He will just be happy sitting by himself inside his body. That is the meaning here. So this is one very important shloka we have to remember. And why he brought this shloka here is, in the last session we saw there is a qualification to become sannyasi also, right? Like how we have qualifications in everything in our daily life. To become a sannyasi, we saw that the two qualifications will be intense vairagya. If you have that intense detachment, then you can immediately take sannyasa. That minute you can take sannyasa. Or the other qualification is when you get the jnana, you can immediately take the sannyasa. So now Krishna is telling, see, this person who is living like this can immediately take the sannyasa. So that is the context of this shloka. The right to become the sannyasi is there if you have all these qualities. Shloka number 40. He said that he doesn't do, nor does he make anybody else to do, right? So the doing is known as the kartrutvam. Making others do is known as the karayatritvam. So these two things are explained in the shloka number 40. Na kurvan na karayan, that line which he used, that is explained in this shloka number 14. Na kartrutvam na karmani lokasya srijati prabhuhu na karma phala sanyogam swabhavastu pravartate. Na kartrutvam. Kartrutvam we saw is the sense of doership. Neither kartrutvam, the sense of doership, na karmani. So na karmani is being described as the actions that you will do to attain the objects, that karmani. That kind of actions. What kind of actions? With the actions with a desire to attain things. That kartrutvam na karmani. Lokasya. Lokasya here means the body. Lokasya here means the body. Srijati. Srijati means creates. Prabhuhu. Prabhuhu meaning here the Lord of the body or the Atma. What is inside the Jiva? That talking about here. So this pertains to the Atma inside the Jivas. So Lokasya here means the body, and the Prabhuhu means the Lord of the body, which is the Atma. Na karma phala samyogam. Na karma phalam, the fruits, nor the fruits of actions. Samyogam, connection. We will see what it means. There is no connection with the karma phala. Swabhavaha tu pravartate. Swabhavaha, one's nature, but pravartate is enacted. So what is he talking about here? It seems to be a little vague. As I said, na kurvan nakarayan. That is being described in this shloka. When we do things in action, the jnani is also doing things, ajnani is also doing things. But you say that the jnani doesn't do anything, right? And the ajnani is doing everything. So the answer we gave was the jnani is not affected because he knows the nature of his true self, that it is Atma, and Atma is not the karma swarupam, like that he knows. So he becomes it is not the karta or the karita, that we said. He says, the answer we give sometimes is that, okay, I am not doing it, but my Atma is only causing me to do. The thing inside my body is causing me to do is sometimes the answer that people will give. Like, I don't know, I'm impelled, and then the Atma inside me is making me do all these things. That is not the answer. That is what he says. The Atma doesn't, in this shloka, he's talking about the property of the Atma. The previous shloka, he talked about the Jnani. Now he's talking about the property of the Atma. So what does the Atma do? It doesn't cause any doership. In chapter number 2, we saw Veda Vinashinam Nityam Yayenam Ajamavyayam Katam Sa Purushaha Partha Kam Ghatayati Hantikam. Shloka number 21, chapter number 2. It can kill or it can be killed, like that. So that was a property of the Atma. Atma will not cause any action. So that is the first point there. Na karmani. And then when people give the answer that, oh, actually my Atma inside me is asking me to that or go to this place, it is forcing me to do all these things, that is also wrong. So the karmani, whatever the desires you have, is not coming from the Atma. So that is the second point he was to clear. And then he's saying that the karma phala samyogam. So the joining of the karma with the karma phala also the Atma is not doing. It is not doing. Don't be under the misunderstanding. The karma and the karma phala are not being joined together by the Atma. What is the cause of all these things? Then he gives the answer. Swabhavaha tu pravartate. So that means it is all being done by the swabhava, nature. Another name is the Maya. So that is the cause of all these things. So the answer is what? The nature or the swabhava, the Maya. We saw in three gunas are there, the sattva, rajas, and the tamas. Right? We are going to see in detail also later in the Gita chapters. So all this will come together. So the answer here is, what is causing this doership is the Maya or the nature. And what is causing the desire to do actions is also this nature. And the karma and the karma phala, all this is also happening because of the nature only, because of this Maya. So that is the answer here. We are talking about the jiva. So we should note that something is talked about the jiva. Next sloka is going to talk the same thing about the Ishvara. So what is Ishvara? So as we progress further, chapter 7 and beyond, we'll understand about Ishvara in detail. So here, what did we say? The general translation becomes, neither is a sense of doership nor the nature of actions comes from the Atma or the self, nor does he create the fruits of the actions. All this enacted by the modes of the material nature. So all this is only being done by the material nature, which is the gunas or the Maya. So here, so Atma, the Swarupam, becomes then Akarta Akareta. Akarta meaning it is not the doer. Akareta meaning it does not cause any action. Another property of the Atma is Abhokta Abhojayita. Abhokta means it does not enjoy or it does not cause any others to enjoy also. Another property is of the Atma is Aprapta and Aprapayita. So Aprapta means it does not attain anything. Like we said, the karma phala and all, is it attained by the Atma? No, it is not attained by the Atma. Karma phala is also not created by the Atma. Aprapayita means it does not cause others to attain also. So these are the properties of the Atma. Previous sloka we saw about the Jnani itself, his properties. And then the next sloka we are going to talk about Ishvara or the God. Nadatte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukrutam vibhuhu ajnanena vritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. Definition of Ishvara is given. Nadatte kasyachit papam. So here actually basically we just see generally and then we will see definition of Ishvara and then we'll come back to the specific meaning. So the general translation just means the omnipresent God does not involve himself in the sinful or virtuous deeds of anyone. And the living entities are deluded because their inner knowledge is covered by ignorance. So this was just the general meaning. If you look here, na adatte kasya chit papam. So na adatte, he does not adatte, he does not accept kasya chit papam. He does not accept anyone's sin, like that it has been said. And then Na cha eva sukritim vibhuhu. Na cha eva. Not cha and eva, certainly. Sukritim, virtuous deeds also. Vibhuhu means it denotes the Ishvara or the omnipresent God here. Ajnanena avritam jnanam. Ajnanena, by ignorance, avritam covered, jnanam, this knowledge, tena muhyanti jantavaha. So by that, muhyanti, are deluded the jantavaha, the creatures, the living entities. See, so then there is a confusion here. Definition of Ishvara is, in the last shloka, you say the Atma did not do anything. It is all be caused by Maya. Right? That is what you said in the last shloka. If you're saying Maya is a cause of you doing everything, that's what you said in the previous shloka, then Ishvara becomes a cause of you doing everything. Does this not imply that? That is one doubt we have, right? And then it also says that the Jiva is the Karta and the Ishvara is the Kareta. What does it mean? You are the doer and Ishvara is the cause of you doing. So this is other definition of Ishvara that he himself will give. In the 11th chapter, he'll say, Nimitta Matram Bhava. Like he'll say, okay, on Arjuna, you're going to slay all these enemies in front of you. All are already slain by me. Look at me. In my Vishwarupa Darshana, he'll say, everybody is already slain. You are only Nimitta Matram. Become only an instrument. So now what does this imply? He's saying that you're only an instrument. That means I am the cause of everything. You are just an instrument. So I am the Kari. I am making you do and you are doing. Like that he said. So that is also another definition, right? And then we know that Ishvara also is the cause of the creation. He is a cause of the sustenance. He is a cause of dissolution. That also we know. This all these things we have a doubt. Okay, we know about Ishvara in all these ways. Then we also know that Ishvara is the karma phaladata. The correct karma phala Ishvara will give to us. Another definition is he is also defined as a person who will remove the sins. Harati papani harihi. Hari is the one who will remove the sins. Like that also we know. So now in this shloka they are telling Ishvara will not accept any papam from anybody. He will not give any punyam to anybody. Basically, he will not involve himself with the papam or punyam of anybody. Like that it is given. Is this correct or is that correct? Okay, all this is true when we know that the equation is Ishvara is equal to Brahman plus Maya. So when we know that equation, we know that this is also true, that is also true. Brahman, we know that it's a Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, like that the explanations be given, that we will see later. But Ishvara can be seen in two angles. When he is seen along with Maya, he is known as Ishvara. The definition we had given, like the 5 things we have given, the definition suits when you see him along with Maya. And this is the Vyavaharika Drishti, or the common plane in which you see on the transactional plane, this is true. And we will worship the Ishvara, like all those things are true. And then when we remove the Maya component, it is only Brahman that exists. So this is known as the Paramarthika Drishti. So one level on top of it is the next level. So whatever after chapter 7 we are going to see about Ishvara, about how he will describe himself is very true in that plane of Vyavaharika Satyam. Then after that you will go to the plane of the Paramarthika Satyam, which is the only the plane of the Brahman. So that is why both are true. So it just depends on the level in which you are looking at it. Here he is talking about himself not as a Karta or the Kareta. Last sloka he talked about the Jiva, this sloka is talking about himself, and he is talking about himself as Brahman. What does he say? Na adatte kasya chit papam. In that context, he says that the Brahman is not going to accept anybody's papam. And na cha eva sukritim vibhuhu. Nor their good deeds. Okay, Papa, you will not accept. Will you accept the punya? No, that also no. I have nothing to do with your Papa and your punya. Vibhuhu. Vibhuhu meaning the omnipresent God that they are referring to here. Vibhuhu indicates the Brahman. So Prabhuhu there and Vibhuhu here. And Ajnanena Avritam Jnana. So then he says that What is the cause of all these things? Is just the ajnanena. By ignorance, avritam jnana. This jnanam is covered with this ajnana. Tena muhyanti jantavaha. Tena, by that muhyanti, they are deluded jantavaha, the living entities. So here, the general translation becomes, the omnipresent God does not involve himself in the sinful or the virtuous deeds of anyone. The living entities are deluded because their inner knowledge is covered by ignorance. Then shloka number 16. Previous shloka, he said that the cause of all the problems was this ajnana. In this shloka, he says if by jnana he removes this ajnana or this ignorance, then he will attain the Brahman. That is what he is going to talk about here. So shloka is jnanena tu tatat jnanam yeshannaashitamatmanah teshamadityavaj prakashayati tatparam. So jnanena, by the divine knowledge, tu, but tat, that ajnanam, that ignorance, yesham nashitam atmanah. Yesha means whose nashitam, who are being destroyed, atmanah, of the self. You can take it as the ignorance of the self being destroyed by the divine knowledge of the self. Of the self can be added to both the places. So the ignorance is also about the self, the knowledge is also about the self. Only so the knowledge and the ignorance is about the self. Tesham adityavat jnanam. Tesham, their adityavat, like the sun. He compares the knowledge to the sun, jnanam, this knowledge, prakashayati tatparam. Like it will prakashayati, it will illuminate tat, that param, that supreme entity. For those in whom this ignorance of the self is destroyed by the divine knowledge of the self, that knowledge reveals the supreme entity, just like the sun illuminates everything in the daytime. We have to see now is there are some properties of ajnana also, like how we've been seeing properties of jnana, there are properties of the ajnana also. So first property of the ajnana is the anadi. That means it has no beginning. What do we mean by that? Suppose I ask you a question, do you know Latin? You will say, I don't know Latin. No. Since when you don't know Latin? There is no answer for that. Oh, since I was born, I don't know Latin. Before that, you know Latin, I don't know, right? So there is no beginning for this ignorance. That is anadi, so one quality. And the second is jnana nasha. That means that when you get the knowledge, there can be an end. There is no beginning, but there can be an end. Like how when you learn Latin, the ignorance of Latin will go. So there can be an end. But the beginning, we do not know. Since when I don't know that, I don't. So anadi is like it has no beginning. Jnana nashyam. That means it has an end with the knowledge. And then few more qualities we can see. It is avarna swarupam. That means this ignorance, what it will do is it will hide the objects. Like how the darkness will hide the objects. Like that, it will hide the objects. The objects are there, very much they are there. When the light is switched off, your table is there, your chair is there, everything is there in that place. But why you are not able to see? Because of the darkness. So that is another quality. It will hide. And moha karanam. Then what does this cause? This darkness, what does it cause? You go and stumble on objects. If there is no light, what will happen? You will go and hit yourself in a table or chair and you will fall down. That is being caused. That is a moham, or the delusion is being caused because you couldn't see that object. So like that, these are the qualities of the ignorance. When we are born in this ignorance, and all these things are superimposed on this Atma, the Stula, the Sukshma, the gross body, the Sat, everything is imposed on this Atma, and we have no concept of it. And then somebody comes and tells, okay, do you know that there is something that is beyond your body? It is called the Atma, and you should realize that Atma. Only then you come to know, okay, there is something. Now, how do I go to that something? like that. So that jnana must be attained, and that is the purpose of this human life. Otherwise, again and again, we are going to continue in this lifetime. So, and then we also said, okay, how do I get this jnana? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upatekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. We saw in chapter 34, shloka number 34, where we said that go and approach the spiritual master who has learned properly, and also he is knower of the truth. So if you go and approach him and ask him humbly knowledge after having developed the qualities, all the qualities, the karma yoga, then the sadhana chatushtayam that we saw, all the must be developed. So that's why Vedanta everybody will run away, because all these qualities have to be developed. It's not easy. So first you will do this upasana, this bhakti. We will see in the next chapter what is upasana. But bhakti you will do karma yoga, then you will approach the guru, then you will obtain the jnana, then you will be situated in the jnana, then you will get the moksha. So it is a step-by-step process. So shloka number 17. Tad buddhayastadaatmanaha tannishthaastatparayanaha gacchantya punadavrittim jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. Two things he is going to talk about. He is going to talk about the changes that will happen within after the jnana is obtained. That is, you get the jnana that there is something called the Atman, and we have to realize that we are this Atman. Like that, when you know, there will be a few changes happening in you. That is the first line, changes that happen. And the second line, it talks about no birth, or this videha mukti, no deha. After this, you will not have any deha. So what are the changes that will happen? That is 4 things he is going to describe here. So first we will see what those changes are. Then we will see the shloka itself, the meanings to the shlokas. So he talks about 4 things. Tadbuddhayaha. So he is talking about the one. First of all, his intellect will be directed towards the Brahman. After you got the knowledge, okay, I am this Atma, I am this Brahman, then your intellect will be directed towards the Brahman. This person who has fixed his mind on the Brahman or using his intelligence to realize the Brahman. Basically, he is using all the teachings of the Upanishads. He is fixing his intellect on the Brahman. That is called Tadbuddhayaha. Then the second point is Tadatmanaha. Tadatmanaha meaning those who are solely absorbed or who are knowing that they are the Brahma Swarupam itself. Tadatmanaha. Then after he knows that, what he will do? Tatnishtaha. That means then he has to be established in it. So first step is his intellect is knowing that, okay, this is the Brahman. He has to keep his intellect fixed on the Brahman. Then after that, he becomes a Brahman himself. Then after that, what happens? Maybe 1 hour if he knows, okay, he is a Brahma Swarupam, that is not enough. Continuously he has to know. That means he has to be established in the Brahma Swarupam. That happens in the Tannishtaha, that phase. Tatnishtaha. Then Tatparayanaha. Tatparayanaha means there are 2 meanings for this. So Adi Shankaracharya, he takes the meaning of Atma Ramaha. After that he has established himself. These people, Atma Ramaha, they are happy in themselves. They do not depend on the external objects. That will be their state after they are established in that. Or the other explanation is Tatparayanaha also means that you think of the goal as the supreme. Suppose you take the meaning of Tatparayanaha as to strive for the goal of this Brahman, then it will come as number 1. It will not be in step 4. So first you will strive for the goal, then you will put your intellect in the goal, then you will know that you are the Brahma Swarupam, then you will establish yourself in the Brahma Swarupam. You keep establishing yourself. If you take Tatparayanaha as a last stage, like Adi Shankaracharya describes that Atma Ramaha, he is happy in himself, then you take it as a last point. First you take Tadbuddhayaha, intellect is fixed, Tadatmanaha, You become the Brahma Swarupam, Tat Nishtaha, you become established, and Tat Parayanaha. So you are just not depending on any other thing, only yourself is enough. Like that you become. So these are the 4 steps. We'll now see the shloka meaning. Tad buddhayaha. As we saw, the intellect is directed towards the Brahman. Tadatmanaha. So who is solely absorbed in the Brahman. Tat nishtaha. Who is established in the Brahman. And tatparayanaha. So the 2 meanings are there. One who strive for the goal of the Brahman, or if you take it as a last stage, he is satisfied in himself. So these are the 4 stages. So why are you saying that, okay, after the jnana, these are the changes that will happen? Like that, why are you saying? Because first the jnana will go, then how your mind, like when you take a medicine, how your body reacts to it. Like as and when the impurities of the mind keep getting removed, he will keep moving past these stages itself. After the jnana is obtained also, get the purity, and so these changes will keep happening to him. Like how the medicine will act slowly on your body depending on the state of your body. Like that, the jnana will act on you on these stages. So that was the first line. Then the second line is talking about Gachanti apunaravritti. So the second line is talking about the videha mukti, or no birth. Next lifetime, no birth. So Gachanti. So they go apunaravrittim. So not returning. Apunaha avrittim. Apunaha avrittim. They do not come back again. Jnana nirduta kalmashaha. Jnana, by knowledge, nirduta is dispelled. Kalmashaha. Kalmashaha means all their sins are dispelled. So kalmashaha meaning is taken as the one which is the cause of the samsara. Because of this kalmasha only, because of this sin only, you are again being falling into this bondage of this samsara. So the general translation becomes, those whose intellect is fixed in the Brahman, who are absorbed in the Brahman, the firm faith that is the supreme goal, such persons quickly reach the state from which there is no return, their sins having been dispelled by the light of knowledge.